Hi, thanks for stopping by. My name is Cropper. I'm the programmer here at Calo Creation. And this is the tutorial on how to create a property drawer, a Unity editor. This is the drop down. This is the functionality. So we all know the input manager, and these are the default settings in the input manager. So fire 2 on the mouse would give me the weapons. Can change it. Submit button also. So now let's remove the property drawer and see some of the issues that I bumped into while I was developing. And like they say, necessity is the mother of invention. You need something and then you create it. So now we don't have a property drawer. Press fire 1, I can fire. Fire 2, sorry. Fire 1, can fire, same. Let's change it to another key. Submit, let's say.
Yeah, I was going to show you when you're walking back.
If you notice, there's lots of errors in the console. So, as I can't find this word in the input settings, it's throwing an error. The error stops once it actually finds a valid entry. So now submit, enter key, it's firing. So creating a property drawer completely eliminates this issue. So let's create our own property drawer. Property drawer consists of 2 scripts. One script that resides in your regular script folder. To input. And you need the script that actually draws the property needs to reside in the editor folder. Yeah, I think I made some naming mistakes here. We can fix that in the IDE. Alright, here we are. This is what we're going to mimic, start to finish. Most of the code in this is optimization. It's going to be a package on the asset store. It needs to be optimized. You can get it working with a lot less code than this, which we'll start with, and then we'll continue all the way to here to where it's completely optimized, I guess, as efficient as possible. So we need to rename this file here this attribute, and it needs to inherit from property attribute, and that's in the Unity namespace. This is a very simple class. We'll start with the default constructor. Alright, and that's it for the attribute side. Alright, let's get it all renamed properly here. Live programming, huh? Right, now for the drawer side. Require Unity editor namespace for this one. Don't need any of the default functions for mono behavior. Alright, now we have two functions to override. We'll start with the ongui, the actual drawer.
What? Mouse?
This property is the field that we're going to set this field. It comes in here. Alright. We need an attribute here. Attributes. We're making one ourselves. And that's type of the class we just created. Tut input attribute. Alright. Alright, that will give us a drawer and the attribute. And let's add this to our field. Alright, back to Unity. Yeah, I get these all the time. Don't know how to fix the line endings. Well, I guess, just haven't spent any time trying to fix it. But that fixes it. And it works for me. Alright, now let's click on a Sentinel. Now you notice this field is gone. Our property drawer is empty. Let's get something in it. How about the default property drawer so we can see it work? Alright, here we are. As you see, it's same functionality, default Unity functionality. Fire2, we get our bullet storm and submit. All errors went away, and here we are firing again. I've never tried case sensitivity. Let's try that now. Yep, that's a problem. Doesn't work. Yeah, I guess that's another case for the property drawer. All right, let's add our pop-up. First thing we need to do is find the InputManager asset. So get a path going. Lots of stuff I can't remember, but this is one of them. So we have save files and stuff like that, outside memory. So here we have a path. Now we need to create a serialized object to hold the input manager. I actually tried using this without creating a serialized object, just pulling the raw object, but I can't cast it. So I guess it's restricted. I have no idea how they get it to work. Right. We need to go into the asset database and load all assets at path. This is an array. We get the first one. Everyone usually has at least one input manager. So now we need to find the serialized property that holds the axes. Ah. Now that we have that, this is an array. For loop will take care of that. So axes property array size. So we're gonna loop through all the axes in this input manager setting and get the name property so we can display in our pop-up. That returns a serialized property, and we can access it just like the axis property. I think we're gonna return a string here. Name proper. Find property on the object. Find relative property relative. That's like an inner class type of thing. And that's the property that we want to find on the other property. And all properties have a value. Extracting the right value is essential. Values that can't be converted into what you're trying to pull out here will cause an error. For instance, if I try to pull a quaternion value out of this and it's not convertible, it will cause an error. Okay, so now that we have the name out of the property, we can fill an array with it so we can display it in the pop-up. Create an array called names. Index I equals name. Create our string array. And that's going to be of array size. The axis property. Alright. So that stuff's everything in there. So now we use a pop-up drawer. Draw it at the same position. We're going to need a selected index. And we're gonna use display options that are string. All right, so I think we got everything we need here to draw the property. -1, that's like no selection. It'll leave the drop down selected blank, and then we'll pick something. Now let's see how this works. Yep. Hopefully there's no errors. Empty build, and here we are. So we have our property drawer, and it contains all the fields from the input manager. Fire 1. It should work as is. Let's try it out. On build, it selected the default index. That's just for display, as we can see, because it still works. So if I select submit and hit the enter key, nope, it's still firing from the button. Oh, the reason it's changing is it's not serialized, the selected index. It's just in the editor inspector. So when it builds, it doesn't have anything to serialize. So we have the name field of the property is being passed in here. We set this to the index that we select here. And this property is serialized. So everything will just work. Famous Unity developer words. Just works. Everything just works. All right. Now that would be permanent. Index out of range. So we all know what that is. -1. Now that we've got, let's go fire 3. Errors of stop. There you go. Press play. Still changes back. Index out of bounds. Resetting. All that stops. So we do some checks and we're good. So we can see if anything in the inspector has changed. It's default Unity function here. I think this is a property. So if this field above it has changed, then it would perform this action. And we can also do another check to make sure that current index does not equal to -1. -1 out of bounds index arrays from 0 to length -1. Right. So we've got no errors. It just won't draw it. Just skip over the setting part. Everything still works, no errors. Now we change it, submit, press play. All right, still works. We need to maintain this selection here. We need to know what's going on. So we need to preserve this current index when the editor redraws. The editor redraws on various events, mouse over and certain things. The minute your mouse gets over the editor, it redraws and it resets the index and stuff. So when it redraws, we need to get the index. It's fairly easy. Well, one line of code wise easy. Just check here if the names at that index is equal to our properties already selected value, then we set our current index I. So you can't, it's gonna set it, and we keep on iterating through the loop because we want to set all the name values. Unity build, and here we are. Submit. Fire 3, play. Middle mouse button. Cancel, and then I think that's the escape key. Alright, now we got a functional pop-up. Displays all the current input settings. Here's the input manager. Here are all the settings that were displayed in our box. So I don't know, I don't use these regularly, so I guess I'll just create one so we can see how it works. Stop. That's good. Just cancel. Alright, I guess we'll use this escape key to make this one work. And there it is. Stop. Press play. And there we go. Now we have a functional property drawer that selects any of the available axes from the input manager, and it works in our code. Now, just need to add this to any string field. Okay, and there's a few problems I encountered that arose if you're developing for other people. Like this is going on Unity assets. So for instance, if this is an int, let's create a new variable. Integer. Input num. That can't be serialized into a string. So when the property is drawn here and I try to pull a string out of it, it's going to generate an error. Now the errors is fine here. I can deal with that and not use an integer. But someone not using the software would get this. Not accustomed to the software would get this. And a non-working dropdown. Well, there's ways to check for that. And that's what bloats this part of the property drawer here. Let's add a few of these functionalities on our way to actually completing it. So first things first, let's stop the error from happening if the attribute is applied to the wrong field type. The property drawer class has a property of field info. We can access that directly. We can check the field type against the type that we're looking for. So if it's a type of string, we do all of that. And let's just not type of string, then return. And let's add in an indication that there's a problem. Help box, position, same position, we're gonna draw it. We need a message. Of course, you can get a lot more specific than this, but you may need a bigger rectangle to draw the help box. Alright, this will stop the errors and return, show a warning, and let the user know exactly what's going on. Alright, so here we are, we have it selected, and it says here, wrong field type. So now I know that there's a problem in the attribute being on this type of field. Alright, so that's taken care of. So now it's time for optimization. That we'll take care of in the next video. Thanks for watching. My name is Jones Cropper. I'm the programmer here at CalCreation. This has been a Unity editor script tutorial about property drawers, brought to you by CalCreation. Don't forget to follow us on your favorite social media, visit our website, and calls. Thank you.